Today on the Gaming Podcast, episode 60, we talk about just a little bit about the Dragon Age controversy. Firewalk Studios is shut down officially by Sony. Our hearts go out to the Firewalk people who work there. Hopefully they can land somewhere, or at least they get distributed around Sony. Nintendo, big announcement is here, but it's not what you think it is. And Caboose is back here once again to talk about Indiana Jones, the preview live event. Check it out right now on the Gaming Podcast. Welcome to another episode of a Gaming Podcast, episode 60, the Off the Grid edition.
Off the grid.
We got Slop 60. Veilguard, how are you doing?
That name coming out of your mouth.
Hey,
I didn't think this one through. I didn't think this one through.
I said it enough times beforehand.
You know,
you're like, oh, that sounds good. And then now, guess what?
Marcel, I'll be honest. I was half listening when you said that, and it didn't click in my head.
Here I am. Hey, how you doing, Slop 6? You're like, oh, I'm doing
Slop
great.
6. Yeah, no,
half listening. Yeah.
What happened to the other 5 slops?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
Slops.
Well, they're at
slops 2, slops 3, slops 4, slops. Cold War.
No,
slop 6. Yeah.
Okay.
The other slops are at Scud. That's where they are. What a stupid
Scud.
Scud.
Go wipe out all the scuds.
Scud.
You need to get 3 scuds.
Yeah.
Just 3 scud buds here.
That car of mine did not last long in that mission. That's all I gotta say.
No,
mine lasted the entire mission.
Damn.
Mine just like started.
Were you just driving right into the base?
No, I was just driving on the path. My car started getting red. I'm like, what is happening? Am I like driving over someone?
Some more reconnaissance.
Were you getting shot at or something?
No. Nothing.
Were you off the grid?
I mean, yeah. But,
well, so
yes,
is anyone else playing on veteran?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry to offend you, Riley. I didn't mean to.
It's just like,
that's
no, I'm deeply offended.
Yeah, it sounded like it. Jeez,
No.
Louise.
Oh, are you crazy? What the hell?
I'm sorry, Slop 6. Please continue. I didn't mean to offend.
No, I was just gonna say this feels like the easiest veteran mode I've been playing so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Are there achievements tied to the?
Well, the one.
Just
like,
okay, yeah. Just about it, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But usually I try to do like a give it the old college try, and so in some games it just never happens. But this one I'm like, could happen. We could do it. We could do it.
Are you do you think you're close to completing it at that difficulty?
No, it's taken me a lot longer. Obviously, like I'm not flying through missions and stuff, but
yeah.
I'm not like head against the wall like I was. I think Modern Warfare 3, like the last one, I got 2/3 through, and I was like, it's not happening. It's just I don't have the patience for it. This is my
You're almost done the game.
Yeah.
You're almost done.
Yeah.
I played 4 hours of it last night, and there were some times where I'm like, there's just a wave of just enemies. I'm like, this is impossible. I'm getting hit from everything.
Yeah.
So
times, I was like, I hate this.
Yeah. And then if you load back in, sometimes you be loaded into bullets. Like some of the loading spots, I'm like, how am I already getting hit? Like I'm already getting hit right now. Oh, it happens. It's coming for you. Wait for it.
Multiplayer though? Anyone ripping multi?
Multi's pretty good.
Really good.
I played one game of it and I won.
Rewind,
I played one game of it and I won, so I'm at 100% win rate.
Then you gotta stop. You can't play anymore.
I know. I hit the 1 because I only had a moment, and I was like, oh, cool, and I logged off, and then I got an email, and it was like, oh, congrats on your win in Call of Duty. You should get back in here. And I was like, oh.
Yeah,
then I had like a moment where I was like, do people just buy this game, play one match, and then never touch it again?
Probably.
Like truly, and but how many, and how often is that now? Not like just such a niche little statistic that I'm like so morbidly curious about now.
I've been getting daily emails from them.
Me too.
Especially today, I got one for Nuketown.
Oh, no, we're going back.
It was kind of funny when we were at the Call of Duty event, and then we looked, and you guys went to Nuketown map. I was like, oh my god, that's like the map for next year. That's crazy. And now here it is. They brought it back. So
Yeah, it comes out November 1st.
Yeah.
I think?
Yep.
Like soon, right? Which is
This
awesome.
weekend, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, let's go.
That's crazy. But I just can't believe, like, how many years ago Black Ops 2 came out? They're like 2025, and I'm like, damn, this thing's so futuristic.
Oh my god,
and
don't even.
we're like, here we are, just 1 year away from this thing being an actual reality, Nuketown. So yeah, I don't know. Black Ops is cool. Riley, how are you doing?
Really cool.
I'm doing well. Doing well. I have my voice back for the most part, which is great.
Congrats. Yeah, you went through like a whole evil arc with your deep voice.
I know, yeah, it was pretty bad. But it was like
being mean to everyone. Like,
I didn't mean to be mean to anyone.
Give me a number 6. Damn, all right, relax.
Yeah,
man.
I know, yeah.
I'm just ordering, guys. What?
Well, I know too is like the way I say things seems harsher than I intend sometimes, like Steve just experienced. So I'm coming around right now.
You play veteran?
Yeah.
Gross.
Veteran. You play veteran? No. Yeah.
I have a tinfoil hat question for you guys here.
Let's do it. I love it.
I don't know if you've been keeping up to date with the whole Dragon Age nonsense that's been going on.
Yes and no. Yep.
So some content creators, reporters, like people in the industry, got flown down to see the Dragon Age event back in September.
Mm-hmm.
They all released their previews, and a lot of them had the impressions that they were getting a key for the review of the game. Those who were, not like this game, like people weren't like this game sucks, blah blah blah. More like, oh, I'm a little worried about this, or I don't like this. People who are a little, I guess, like, somewhat critical, but in a professional way, did not receive a key, even though they were told they were receiving a key. And then those who were extremely positive in their preview, all of them received their keys.
And this is this is a known conversation going on right now.
People are like asking, like, hey, I saw your video. We kind of had a similar like results or like similar like taste on it. Did you receive a key? No. And then like other people did not receive it, even though they were flown down, and the reps told them, yes, you'll be getting a key for the game. Just to like after the preview came out, because I guess that was like the whole exchange. Like, hey, if you come to this event, you have to like post this preview. And then after looking at the preview, they like ghosted from all the reps and everything. So is like, and like this is all like on EA, nothing on BioWare or anything like that, because EA is the publisher and they're obviously handing out the keys and everything. Is this something that like companies have done in the past, or like just to like they want to be like controlling? Because now the game came out with like what, an 85 Metacritic, and it's mostly all positives because it's just a selected people who are like, oh, you're gonna give a positive review, so here you go. Like, is like first of all, like no one's entitled to a keys, and a lot of them said like, hey, I'm not entitled to a key whatsoever. But like, has this like, do they have a right to be upset about this?
I mean, gut check. If you were told, yes. I mean, I would personally be a little frustrated as a creator. I mean, you're setting up your own content calendars and you're making plans and stuff like that. And if you're ghosted, that's obviously a huge detriment to your month and your output and stuff like that. So I can totally understand the frustration on that part. I mean, I'm coming from it from more the media side and stuff like that. And so I've never really been in those kinds of conversations of, hey, you do this and we'll give you this in exchange. That never happens with media. So I don't really know how those conversations go. I would be very interested to hear like a firsthand account of someone who verbatim was able to kind of walk me through that. Because at the end of the day, the long and short of it is that a publisher's not obligated to provide anything unless it's explicitly written to a contract, obviously. But outside of that, I mean, I know Dragon Age, the Veilguard has been divisive in the public eye. I know that there's a lot of conversations about, its percepted wokeness and stuff like that, and whether or not that's going to affect review scores and stuff like that, which ultimately, it snowballs into people getting bonuses and stuff like that, where, you know, we've seen it before with certain metrics having to be hit internally in a studio for, you know, bonuses to go out and stuff like that. So from a publisher or a studio standpoint, I don't necessarily begrudge them for wanting to at least try to maintain a somewhat of a positive yet rather unbiased opinion when reviews hit. Like, they definitely want to kind of get rid of people who might have been troublesome with their opinions and stuff like that, or really try to mitigate whether or not people are going to leverage into, you know, toxic subject when talking about their game and stuff like that. I'm not going to name names, but there was one specific one that was floating around that was very specifically calling out this being like a Sweet Baby Inc. kind of game and stuff like that. And if you're BioWare, if you're EA, like, no matter how you spin it, you definitely want to avoid those kinds of people getting access on day one, because I just think that that's just negative press. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of it. Like,
that topic.
Me too, honestly.
I'm like, oh my god, can it just not? I don't hear that word again for like 2025. Like, it's so. I'm so sick and tired to hear them. You know, like, that's their company in Canada as well as and everything. So, but
it's just, it's tiresome. But I don't unfortunately have a definitive opinion because I don't know both sides of it. Being on the media side, so that's just my perspective. I don't know if that is helpful at all.
No, it's just something like I've seen, and I'm just like, I don't think, like, because I know a lot of, like, a lot of them argue the fact that they can just print unlimited keys. I'm like, yes, they can. Like, no matter what, there's a cost to there's always, even though it's free for you, it's a cost to someone. Like, it's a cost to the studio. Like, even if, yes, they can generate as many as they want, but like, that's them giving their product away for free, which is a cost to them. You know, like, so that whole mentality of like, oh, they can print unlimited keys. So the fact that, like, oh, we have no more keys, like, people can't wrap their head around them. Like, no, like, maybe they just have like, hey, this is the certain budget we have. We can't print any more keys because that's like a potential sale gone right there, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think I never understood that.
It's, well, like, the unlimited keys thing is like, it's not really about giving it to everyone. It's about like you do have a list. Like, it just is that way. So I don't know. I don't think it's malicious. I think it just is what it is.
It's a game, baby. Yeah.
This is a game. And like, and at the end of the day, if they think that they are trying to control the Metacritic score, because like, at the end of the day, when the game comes out, it'll balance itself out. Like, if you end up reviewing the game and you review it fairly, you're like, okay, you know what, this game's not like a 9, it's more like a 7, for example, or something like that. You know, it will balance out the Metacritic score, you know, because it's so the Metacritic.
To a certain extent, only because, like, there's the critic side and then the user side. And,
well, apparently some critics didn't get it either as well, like some people in the media.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Dragon Age, where some people didn't get a key, even though they were flown out to the preview event. And then,
that's weird.
And then with their preview, like, content that they made, some of them were like, not like this game sucks type of thing. The game is just like they're more critical. Like they're a little more critical on it, and like, because, you know, they're passionate about what they with the game, and they just didn't receive it. Like, they got ghosted ever since their preview. So a lot of them think that, like, oh, since we were more critical, and some of them who, like, you made a preview event were reached out being like, are you not worried about not getting a key? Or like, and people were like, what are you talking about? I'm just giving my opinion about the game. Like, this is what a review is, you know, type of thing. And then they didn't get a key. So
that's frustrating. I mean, that paints like a difficult, and it paints a frustrating picture for people like myself, right? Like, if I go to a preview event, and I mean, I'm going to talk about one that I went to later on. But like, if you go to a preview event and you were relatively positive, it starts to paint this picture of like, oh, he's just positive because he's trying to get the review code. And that definitely shouldn't be how it's done, right? Like, so long as obviously these people went to this preview event and the criticism was constructive, it felt like it was something that was to be productive for the studio, right? Like, it was supposed to be a means of like, hey, here's some things that didn't work, rather than just yelling, God, this is crap, you know? If it's a constructive piece of criticism, then like, they're just as worthy as receiving a review code as somebody who might have been positive about it. But clearly, I mean, from what we can see out of the reviews, surely like there's a lot of people who like it, and there's plenty of positive reviews, but there's also some pretty scathing ones, some rather negative reviews. So it's a divisive game. It's weird to say it's a divisive game because I think it's sitting at like an 83 or 84 on Metacritic.
Yeah, 84 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just that some of those negative reviews are rather negative. At least some of the ones that I've seen from people like Skill Up on YouTube, who just really weren't feeling it. So I don't know. It's really interesting to see, and that's definitely disappointing to hear that people who were negative at the preview event didn't end up getting a review code.
Yeah, I just hope like things are not going to become like if there is like, this is why I said this is my tinfoil hat question. If there's like if this is like true in some way where we find out like years later, it will suck to find out that like, oh, just because this person was positive on the game, they got access to it early, where like someone who just like, hey, I didn't like this. I like the fact that the pickup button is a jump button. Why is that a thing? And be like, oh, you're not getting a key now. How dare you say something like that?
Well, yeah. I don't think it will come out and be that black and white. I think if anything, it's much like any publisher dealing with any kind of PR and media, is just these companies, unfortunately, given what's going on with the industry right now and how loud a lot of the toxicity is that they're just going to end up tightening down and just sticking with the people who they know and can trust, whether or not they're positive or mixed, or can provide, crucial feedback like Caboose is saying. I think that's a great spin there, is that, these companies, much like what happened with Nintendo after, I think it was one of the Pokemon games leaked, they just basically went, boom, done. We're not working with anyone we don't trust. We're not bringing in a whole lot of new media and voices in here for quite a while because we just don't trust any of y'all. And I think that's unfortunately going to be the state of the industry moving forward, which really isn't going to help that perception of, well, media is getting paid off, creators are getting paid off, because it's always going to be the same people, the same voices getting access versus, up and coming talent.
And that's, I think leaks especially is where it becomes so difficult, right? Like there was a little while back where a creator was pretending to be an insider on a separate account, right? Like things like that are so damaging for other creators who have like a level of integrity, or who want to build these relationships with these companies, not for the sake of getting free things, but for the sake of like, I want to review your games. I want to talk about these games, whether it be positive or negative, right? And so when there's creators out there who are doing things like leaking, or when you have things, it does, unfortunately, it tightens the grip. And it's difficult because one bad egg ruins the whole batch. And so we or is it bad apple? Is that the way the saying goes? I don't know. You get what I'm saying. But it ruins it all for the rest of us. And it makes it so that people who do have that constructive criticism, who do want to cover these games or talk about these games, whether it be positive or negative, are kind of left out because, Nintendo or whoever it is like, we're just working with the people that we've worked with for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah. If there's one thing you should know, don't piss off Nintendo. The ninjas are coming after you or something, or you're just off. Yeah. Hey, if you want to go off the grid, piss off Nintendo. There you go. that's one way. Well, guess what? I guess more gaming industry news. Firewalk Studios is now officially shut down.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one.
My boy's up in the sky.
It wasn't tough for Sony. I don't know. We all.
It sucks
for the people of Firewalk Studios. No, obviously no disrespect
for sure.
It's our hearts go out to them, and hopefully they can pick themselves back up and everything. But
the thing is too, is it's not like they haven't officially stated if all the people who are working at Firewalk are getting laid off, or if they're getting transitioned into other PlayStation studios, or if they're just going to work at like PlayStation proper. Like, we don't really know what the situation is, like what the postmortem about all this will be. But I feel for the folks at Firewalk. Like, listen, Concord it didn't land. It didn't land. It was a big misfire, and it will, in every unfortunate way, go down in the history books as one of the biggest failures in video games. And sadly, a lot of people were predicting this outcome, right? Like, people were thinking, there's no way this game's coming back online. There's no way they're going to relaunch. This might be the end of the studio. And it's wild. I mean, they acquired the studio back in, how many years back was it?
It's like 8-year
Or-
development, right? Or
8-year development, but I think that they acquired them in 2022.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very recently that they
Yeah,
acquired the studio.
same time that they acquired, Haven and
Yes.
Fire Sprite. Yeah.
Yes. So it's really tough. They had this big acquisition. It looked like things were gonna head into a positive direction. Obviously, this was part of an initiative at Sony where they wanted some more live service type games, and it just doesn't land at all. So
this was
listen,
they bought them last year, April 20.
2023. That's wild.
April,
That's
yeah,
wild.
crazy,
Really?
yeah.
Holy
That's
smokes.
crazy.
So I mean, I feel terrible. I'm not saying like I loved the game or anything. I didn't think it was the worst game ever created. But it's certainly like among a sea of live service titles, just wasn't the one I wanted to devote my time to. But I know that there are probably some talented people that work there, and I hope, again, like you were saying, Marcel, that they land either somewhere else or hopefully Sony is just keeping them on board and saying, hey, we're gonna take you into PlayStation now. We're gonna put you all into other different studios or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. This is definitely the fastest turnaround I've ever seen though for anything like this. Like a game getting shut down and then studio's gone, right? Like I don't think this is like a first in the gaming history. Right.
Yeah, it really, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, there's nothing much more to say about this, to be honest, because the fact that like I think we were all we knew like is that if the game was coming back, and then like there was no way of them bringing back this game, to be honest, because of
only because I mean, unfortunately,
at least not with the same name.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is there's so much baggage with that, whether it be the name, the art style, the menu system, just the progression system. It like from the ground to the top, it was so, and I hate to say it, but like uninspired in terms of its character design, its lore, its universe. You can't even build a real games as a service, a successful games as a service without IP anymore. It just it doesn't happen, and that's why you look at things like Fortnite, Call of Duty, that stuff really proliferates within an audience because it is able to do crossovers. It's able to have IP driven stuff. Concord standing at its own really didn't have that. Maybe it could have had a little bit of a boost with that secret level show coming out next month. Maybe people would have been like, oh shit, I really love this
there, I guess.
That's going to be crazy that's the legacy of Concord, is going to be that episode.
Watch it be the greatest episode ever. Be like, damn, I want to play Concord.
People who previewed it are already saying that.
But I don't think it's a Concord episode, right? It's like a PlayStation episode.
The entire show is video games, like very.
No, I know, but isn't there an episode that, because it looked like there was a scene of like Kratos in a city, and then you had Jin from Ghost of Tsushima, and it looked like it was all maybe like part of the same episode.
So I think there are two. I could be mistaken. I think there are two very specific PlayStation episodes. One is kind of like the in-universe like crossover, and I think there is a Concord specific episode, unless I'm mistaken.
Wild. If there is a Concord specific episode, that'll be crazy.
I'll double check just to
I guess we'll see.
That's what
I envy anybody who has that controller. Like that is wild. That is
a physical game. Item. Yeah, both of those. If you got the combo there. Ooh.
Yeah. Very, very tough. It's unprecedented.
Top episode and everything. It's gonna be wild. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I can't remember if I said it on the last episode or not, but like really, this industry is just so cutthroat. It's crazy.
It's crazy right now.
Yeah.
So sorry, just as a quick fact check, I looked up the episodes. There's a Concord specific episode. And then PlayStation, which will feature a number of PS games and characters.
Okay. Wow. Okay, there's a Concord episode.
Dude, that lines up with that whole report that was going out that they were leaning into this to be an IP for them. And going back to my original point, Concord just never got there to get investment from players. And unfortunately, you had a great game. I really love the gameplay. I know I was one of the more positive people out there talking about the game, but besides great gunplay, some of the best out there in terms of side by side with like Call of Duty and Destiny, that's all it had. It had nothing more to engage you other than just great gunplay. And I mean the community spoke.
If they were taking this offline and they wanted to fix it or they wanted to have some sort of relaunch, you're basically thinking that you have to make a whole new game at that point. Like
You do, yeah.
because foundationally, like there just wasn't something there that stood on two legs. There wasn't enough for people to like want to invest the time. And like
that's what I was gonna ask. Like what was missing? Like, do you feel from this game?
It's for me, especially like if you're a live service, we know you're gonna sell skins, we know you're gonna sell cosmetics, like. It just that stuff's got to look good. You know, I want my character to look cool. I want the design of the world and everything to be visually pleasing. And like, unfortunately for Concord, it was none of that. Like, everything looked like either it was trying to copy something else, but it ended up being like a lesser form of it, or it was just not appealing in the slightest. Like some of the character designs I just didn't really mesh with. And also like, I don't know about you guys, but the box art, the controller, all of this stuff, all this promise made you feel like this is like this vibrant world. But when you played, it feels so desaturated, and everything just felt like so diluted. You know, lots of olive green in there, and lots of
they love
their
green,
yeah,
aquamarines, and
it just I don't know. It's just not like appealing on the eyes. It's not something that's like as catching as like the cover of the game, really. Like when you look at that cover, you're like, what is this? This looks interesting. And the game just doesn't reflect any of like the promise that some of the art would lead you to believe.
I don't know. For me, like a part of me kind of wishes there was some story mode or something like that with the character. Just for me to understand the character. So it seemed like they wanted to tell a story. And then like this whole like, oh, you'll get a weekly episode. I'm like, can we not just do like a story?
That kind of sucked too, though. Like you just boot up the game and then it just played like a 2.5 minute trailer. And I was like, oh well, okay, but it's a multiplayer game, so I just want to jump into it. Like I'm like, it's not really threaded well. Yeah,
it's weird because it felt like it tried to follow some of the similar suits of like Destiny, right?
Yes.
Where like at the end of a Destiny season or whenever somebody completes a certain mission in a Destiny season, everyone gets a cutscene, right? But the thing is on top of getting that additional lore and that content, there are missions you play through. Like there is a story and a through line that you go and experience. The cutscenes are it's for the lore nuts. It's for the people who want to dedicate all of their time to everything Destiny. And you can't shape your game around that concept. That's supposed to be an additive.
Well, Caboose, I'm sure you can resonate with this a lot. Remember when Destiny first came out and people were going through it? It's like you're getting these like rich cutscenes. They were cool in hindsight, but going through it, you're in a party with friends and everyone's just shooting the shit. Everyone's just yucking it up and everything. It's like you're not like I didn't even know the story about Destiny until I went back and replayed it on my own because I'm just distracted. I'm just joking around with friends. That's the same thing with Concord. Like they wanted to sell me on the story, all these characters and everything. And the night it came out, the night we all started playing, I just wanted to jump in with like you guys. And I was like, skip. Like, I just want to get into the game. Like there's no reason for me to invest myself in this right now because all I want to do is just play the game, which is wrapped in this multiplayer mode. That's all it is. It's just multiplayer. So why would I invest my time into narrative?
Right, exactly. Like you're already in the mindset of like the only thing I can do when I get on this game is play multiplayer. So you're already preparing yourself mentally for that experience. You're not jumping in like, oh, there's the new Concord cutscene. You know what I mean? Like, so, but it missing out on the single player mode made it so that like the mental game of booting up Concord is, I'm just gonna jump in and play multiplayer. I don't want to see a cutscene. Right now.
just conflicting ideas, right? Like it never really aligned or nailed any of it. It's like we want to be a narrative focused game, but also multiplayer and also this, and it's a live service, so we're gonna have this and that, but no shop at launch, but like a light roadmap. And it's like, okay, like none of this is really like you have all of these ideas and you're not nailing any of them.
You just having this conversation kind of unlocked what really frustrated me about Concord, and it's this exact thing. Marcel, you were talking about like what needed to change and everything, and it is that idea of you're logging in, and the first thing the game wants you to do is to understand. And I'm blanking on the dude's name, the guy, the green dude with the pistol,
Star-Lord.
Sure, yeah. But the game wants you to care about that character, and immediately when you get into the game, you might not even be able to play as them.
Yeah.
So
was the one
if you just
frustrating
spend
part,
2.5 minutes learning about this character and you're like, damn, this guy's really cool. Caboose is playing with him all night,
Well-
and I don't get to play as him. You know,
It's
that
just hogging him, man.
discrepancy
Lennox, by the
in-
way,
in-
yeah.
Like, oh man, I can't be
Thank you.
Lizard Chris Pratt. That
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah.
No, you couldn't be him. Yeah.
Like, okay, so now I just invested this time into learning about this character, and now I just am removed completely from my
Yeah,
association with
And
this
then,
character.
and
Yeah,
then
well,
that's the thing. That was one of the perks of the game. The more characters you play, the different traits or abilities you get from them. I didn't even know that until like we had a discussion. I didn't even have a chance to play any of the characters. I was like,
And kudos to the team. They wanted it to be like a game you buy, right? It's not a free to play game. So they wanted to avoid like microtransactions and battle passes.
it was
But if you're going
$50,
to do
right?
that, yes, I think it was a discounted game.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you're going to do that, if you're going to avoid the free to play model, if you're going to avoid selling me skins for $20, if you're going to make it so that I got to earn costumes and alternate looks for these characters, why is it that for the Star-Lord-esque character, the first 5 skins are all just like color palettes,
yes.
and then the last one's this like really wacky one that like again isn't that visually appealing? Like if you there needed to be from square one a very satisfying progression system where like I hit level 10 with this character, I got a really cool new skin, or I hit level 50, I got everything for this character, you get this awesome legendary skin, right? Like I'm playing a ton of Black Ops 6, and that progression, it's just snappy. It's hitting constantly.
Oh,
I'm
man.
getting new camos for my guns constantly. And at the
Even
end
for,
of the
like,
road,
weapon rank up. You're like, damn, you got
Yes.
your
Yep,
weapons. You're
yep.
like, holy
And-
crap, I'm blinded.
and at the end of the road is gold camo, where you can really show off and feel like rewarded for doing the amount of work that you've done for this weapon. And you can do that for every single gun. And you can unlock different skins and stuff, your operators, when you prestige and whatnot, right? Like that is a progression system that doesn't require me to spend a ton of money. Doesn't require any money actually out of me. It just requires me playing the game and
Investing,
putting effort
yep.
into the game and investing into it. And they needed something like that in Concord.
Oh, rest in peace, Conquer. I would have loved if it was a knockoff Guardians of the Galaxy that had multiplayer. That would have been great, but
It would have been nice.
So what we do is
That
we
was
take
another
Steve Saylor's
timeline.
copy of the game, we put it on a little boat, and we do
Yeah.
a Viking funeral on the waterfront this weekend.
I think that's the wave. I think that's what we
right?
do. Yeah.
Don't even tell
Try
them
to
we're
launch
doing
arrows.
it. Just don't even tell them we're doing it right now.
No, just be like, hey, can I see this for a second? Nice.
Just 1 second, like, hey, is that
Amazing.
my
Amazing.
Yeah, stay here for a sec. Yeah, just like,
Thank
push
you.
it out.
Thank you.
Push it out. Yeah. Topic number 2, Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out next year. X Definitive Edition,
X.
which has one of the best battle theme songs ever. It sounds like Linkin Park, like old school Linkin Park. It's pretty wild.
You got Chester in there?
I wish that way we can hold on to his legacy, you know.
Oh,
But no, they have like when you hear it, you're like, damn, this stuff's like it's so good. This game was locked to the Wii U. I don't know how many Wii U games are left. This has to be like one of the last
This
ones.
is one of the last.
We
Definitely.
got what we got like Wind Waker
Wait.
HD, Twilight Princess HD.
That's a
We got
game.
Paper Mario Color Splash. We got
That's a good one.
there's a few.
Good one.
Nintendo Land. There's a few that Yoshi's Woolly World, Kirby. I'm just going off the top.
You
of
can,
my head.
you can keep
Yeah.
Yoshi's Woolly World though.
I
Are you
love Yoshi
kidding?
game out.
No.
I love Yoshi Woolly's World
No,
game
there is a Woolly Yoshi game, but it's not Yoshi's Woolly World.
That's the crafted world.
You
or
remember
whatever,
the
right?
Amiibos? They were like massive for those ones.
Flammable
Those
too.
were, like,
Yeah.
flammable. That's
Well, what's with you and lighting things on fire in a Viking style funeral, Steve? When is that?
It would make good fodder for when we do our Concord Viking. We just throw a couple
Yeah,
woolly Yoshis
he
on there.
was-
Just shred some
He
woolly
was just
woolly
preparing
Yoshis around.
from his- he was just preparing for his off the grid experience. He has to stay warm somehow.
I just have a batch of woolly Yoshis to keep me warm. I made a coat out of it.
Nintendo's coming after you.
I have the Mega Yarn Yoshi in a box still. I do have that.
Yeah, I
That's
still have
pretty
mine
cool.
too. I have mine as well. Yeah. Man, I have like a box of Amiibos still untouched.
Man, Amiibo, like the initial concept, like I feel like it could be explored so much better than it is currently with
Yeah.
that stuff. We're getting off topic, but yeah, no, I just think like they had like plushies and cards and statues and like it could be 100 other things, but I just feel like it's so like I don't know what the cut of the profit is for the Amiibo name, but I feel like I wish more companies did it if they're going to release Nintendo content.
Yeah. Well, with this announcement, this was not the announcement everyone's waiting for. Okay? Everyone thought Switch 2, little preview, but
Nope.
seems like there's still a
No
little
dice.
juice left for Nintendo. So does this mean 2025 they announce it holiday release? There's no, like, how many games do they have left?
You think it's still a year out?
It's definitely next year.
Games
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I can't like, and then this game's coming out in March 20th. When is the system releasing? Unless they're like, unless it's another crossover, like, oh, get additional boost or FPS with this game. So this game was like, this game came with like another patch to let this game could run properly on the Wii U. And like, you had to download it.
That could be the case, but I feel like, I mean, the more that you think about it, it does make sense. If they should, if they're smart, and Nintendo obviously is smart, tap into that holiday season, because that's just when that's when people want to spend money. So
well, and like, so I was watching, it's kind of, I was watching Kit and Krista, who used to work for Nintendo, and now they have their podcast and everything, and they were mentioning that they will not actually announce the Switch 2 around this time because, you know, US is one of the biggest markets, and currently right now there's an election going on. It'll just be lost in the news.
It would be 100%.
So like, but then none of them, but then they didn't even give like their opinion on when. I'm like, well, when would you announce it? Because apparently Nintendo used to go to them and be like, when would you announce it? Was October a good time? They're like, no, not right now because of XYZ. So like a January announcement, maybe.
I think so at this point. I mean, we're reaching the time when they're just about to do their financial call. I don't think that, I mean, we got a couple more days. They could me, but if we reach Thursday, I'm calling it and just saying we'll see.
It's a next year thing.
There's no reason for them to push it to November or even or December, because then you're really cutting it close to the holidays, and at that point, just kick it to 2025.
You think no chance for Game Awards?
No,
I think zero chance for Game Awards. It's just never been their thing. Like they have had some stuff related to Smash Brothers.
Joker was the last announcement they had.
No, Sephiroth.
Or sorry, that
was the last one, and it like that sort of content aligns better with the Game Awards audience because you want to bring in other fandoms to that game,
right?
So it kind of works well there, but
and I feel like that kind of will hurt your holidays as well.
Oh, absolutely. At that point,
it wouldn't be like at this point. It's December, like if they're not in a rush to get it out for ahead of this current fiscal, then why you're going to do it in January or February or something like with a proper thing, I would assume.
I think so.
But like they have since their last direct, they've taken to more or less just revealing a couple of games on social, which was Smiling Man, like Emio or whatever.
Yep.
Which was a Famicom Detective Club game that released last month, and now Xenoblade. So they're kind of padded pretty well until like Donkey Kong, I think, comes out in January. Xenoblade's coming out in March, so they're padded pretty well now. They have a Pokemon Z through A and Metroid Prime 4, which will also be on Switch. So we kind of know that they're going to have content well into the new year as well.
Prime, there's no release date for Prime, right?
No, not yet. Just next year. Yeah.
I still feel like that's a transition, like console game.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
too. Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of their Breath of the Wild, in my opinion.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. But like it really depends on when this thing's launching, and I think it's going to be depending on when they do it, because they announced it in October last time, Switch in October, it dropped in March. So, I mean, you can kind of gauge the window if they want to mirror something similar to how far out this thing's going to be.
January, February, May, June.
Because did it just say they would just announce it Q4? Or
by Q4, by the end of their fiscal.
Just announce, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were like, it's coming out Q4 type of thing. I'm like, you're running out of time, my friend.
Yeah, no, they just announce it. So I think I would think Q2, Q3 for them. If I'm guessing, like that would make sense to me. Like next fiscal, that they'll be like aiming to release it, because I mean we have Yuka Replay teasing that their game is on Nintendo consoles and not Switch specifically, where all their specifications for PlayStation 4 or 5, Xbox Series S, X, and then just Nintendo. It's like, okay, so it's clear that partners have this. I think that this press, like this fiscal, is going to be a really good time to confirm maybe even, yes, this is coming. We're going to announce it in the next quarter. Stay tuned for details. Maybe give a window for that even. I would assume they'd probably save that, but like sort of start soft confirming these things so that partners can start planning their marketing beats as well. Like Platonic was able to do for Yuka Replay. So
I think they just did it because they're just tired of waiting, and then it also gets their game out. Like everyone's talking about it now.
I mean, hopefully they didn't just do that without Nintendo knowing about it, because I think it sets a dangerous precedent. But yeah, no, I'm sure they're very closely speaking to them and figuring out how to market these things without interfering with Nintendo's plans as well. But I mean, like if we were 2 announcements in so far post the last core Nintendo Direct, I wouldn't be surprised if they had another surprise or 2 up their sleeve imminently, which would be cool. So I think just stick to the social media reveals, and when it's time to pull the curtain back formally on this thing, it'll be exciting for everybody because everybody's ready for it.
I just hope that it comes out by Nintendo and not through leaks and stuff like that, because I think for something big like the Switch 2 or whatever it is, I think it has to be a moment. I mean when Nintendo revealed the Switch, that's true, but I just hope that it's not like, this is it, here are the specs, here's what you can expect. Like,
agreed.
The Switch reveal was such a cool moment for gaming, and I think I would love to replicate that in the most holistic way. Or you even look at the Xbox Series X reveal at the Game Awards, like no one knew that was coming, and I miss reveals like that just come unexpectedly, and I hope that Nintendo can hold on to that narrative for God knows how long.
Maybe they haven't done anything. Doug hasn't done anything like actual announcements wise at the Game Awards. This could be like he just slides out of his pocket. Oh, what's this I got here? Type of thing.
Maybe. I just feel like they want to control all of it. Like that to me is like a GTA 6 level type of, this is our baby. Like we're gonna show it running this and this and this and why you want it, and we're telling you more at this. Like that to me would be a little more engaging than just like, hey, it looks like a Switch, but it's a second one, and it's like I just don't think it would hit as hard.
And I think the reality is that Xbox and Nintendo are playing on 2 very different playing fields, where Xbox loves to lean into more traditional marketing standards and stuff like that. So using a platform like the Game Awards, perfect. They're already in a losing battle, so get it in front of as many eyes as possible. Yeah. Nintendo, they can literally drop a little asset on social media and be like, hey, see you on Thursday at 10 o'clock. We're doing a live stream, and everyone will be there. They don't need to pay Jeff Keighley to do that messaging for them.
Set your alarmos. It will wake you up.
Oh my God. Set your alarmos.
Your alarmo is already automatically updated. You're ready to go, So I don't know. There's no way that they're gonna announce this in January and they'll be like, okay, game's coming out. Not the game, the system comes out in March, right?
No. I don't think so. No, I mean, I think they'll set up a reveal date for maybe end of January, February, like a formal reveal is what I would assume, because they usually do a direct in February.
Summer release or holiday?
I don't know, maybe summer, fall. I think probably summer, fall, if I had to guess.
All right, we'll have to wait and see now.
I guess we will.
Yeah. What's going on with Indy?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yeah. Bethesda. Bethesda flew me out to LA to get early hands-on with the game. I got to walk into like Indy's office. It was cool. Hold on, where's my hat? It's out of reach. I got a hat.
Damn, I wanted to see it.
Wow. He wanted
to commit to the bit. Commit to the bit.
I got my headphones on.
There it is.
All right.
All right.
That's
So
a-
we know your
that's the
Halloween
thumbnail
costume
right
now.
there.
Yeah.
but yeah, so I got to play about 2.5 hours. We played it on PC. The PC had a 4090 in it, I think. So it was
Oh, okay.
we were playing it at the best possible specs. I'm not sure what the minimum requirements will be or recommended requirements will be. I think they said they'd post it. I also saw the collector's edition too. The collector's edition is really nice.
With the globe?
With the globe, yeah, and
You know where you can find it?
the steelbook. Oh, where can you find it, Riley?
Exclusively at Walmart.
Oh,
Yeah.
boom!
I still have my button. I do.
So there it is.
Oh,
Buy it at
now.
Walmart.
Yeah, buy it
There you
now.
go.
There we go.
I do think we have some available too. So
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
Yes, you get to pre-ordering if you're a big.
I need
indie
to pre-order
fan.
my Marvel's Capcom from you guys. Actually,
Boom.
I want
Yeah.
my-
the comic book.
I need my
Oh
physical
yeah,
copy.
I can't wait to get that comic. I think though the biggest praise that I can give the game is if you love Indiana Jones, like if you love the character, if you love the movies, this is like a classic indie adventure. It takes place like in the canon, and it is canon.
Mhm.
It takes place in between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. I think it's a year after Raiders, a year before Last Crusade. So I guess somewhere in between those two games is where this game takes place. So really, like Indy, he's in his prime, which involves a critique that I'll get to in a bit. But it feels like a classic indie adventure. You get the red line going across the map. You get all the little things that you expect out of an Indiana Jones like experience or film, I guess you could say, but now in a game. Troy Baker is Harrison Ford. Like it is insane how good of an impression he is putting on. Like that was the one thing I was really concerned about. I was like, this may rip me out of the experience because I know it's not Harrison Ford recording the voice for this game. It looks like Harrison Ford during the cutscenes, but is it going to sound like him? And yeah, like for immersion's sake, that is what really led me to believe like I am pretty much experiencing like a new Indiana Jones thing because the voice is on point. And visually as well, like the graphics are great. It looks great. We started out in the college, right? So you got to like kind of walk the grounds of the place that Indy works. And so that was really cool. A little bit of lore tidbits too for people who are a big fan of the franchise that give you a bit more context as to like where Indy is after Raiders of the Lost Ark. Some stuff that I feel like the movies didn't explore. Like more character work, which I thought was very very interesting. And then yeah, like there's a pretty good mystery. There's all the little bits like make you feel like an archaeologist, which I thought was cool. Like little things where you can like collect these Easter eggs and you get adventure points, which I thought was fun. Yeah, lots of little bits like that like sucked me in and very much made me feel like, okay, there's no way you can walk away from this and say like that didn't feel like Indiana Jones. If you love those movies, I think you'd be hard pressed walking away from the experience thinking it was bad or like being disappointed. But then again, I don't know what the full game is like. This is just my little vertical slice that I got. Gameplay wise, really solid as well. The combat I thought was pretty fun, using the whip to like either trip someone or you can pull them in, then you grab them and you can just start wailing on a dude, which is awesome. The stealth is fun too because like almost anything is like an object you can grab to use either as a weapon or as a distraction. Lots of like little wine bottles or just beer bottles that you can grab and toss to distract an enemy. And then you'll find like a rake or a shovel or some sort of baton, some sort of melee weapon that you can creep up onto a guy with to use as a stealth takedown. And stealth, honestly, in a lot of those encounters felt like the way to go because if you got like two or three guys trying to fight you at once, you can get overwhelmed very easily. Which like part of me is like, I don't know. Like I want Indy to be like this. Yeah, I know. Part of me is like, I want Indy to be this unstoppable machine, but also it's like, I get it. He's still a guy, He's an archaeologist. So it's a teacher.
Did the movements feel heavy or anything like that? That's what.
So,
and teachers are the real heroes.
Yeah, teachers are the real heroes. So I think that's where my biggest complaint comes in is you use the whip to swing on things sometimes. Sometimes you use it to like grab an item to then climb up a wall, and all that felt very clunky. It felt like when I was doing those things, like Indiana Jones weighed like 3,000 pounds or something. It was literally like a crane lugging a giant truck up a wall whenever I would try to climb with the whip. And then there's like a stamina bar too, which like hinders so much of the experience. We got to play again a little bit in Marshall College, and then we jumped into a sequence in the Vatican, which was more stealth focused. And then we transitioned into a more open, explorable area in Giza, which was cool for the sake of like, there's all this stuff you can go and roam and do and be an archaeologist, right? Like pull out your camera and take photos where you need to. And there's like tombs to explore and things like that too. But getting from point A to point B took forever, because when I'm sprinting, first of all, you feel really slow even when you're sprinting. And then second of all, your stamina runs out very quickly. So then you gotta walk around nice and slow, wait for your stamina to recharge, and then get back to running. You can eat like food to give yourself more stamina, but it just didn't feel like enough.
I was like,
it was
what?
weird.
What do you mean? Like he's just
Like, you can eat like an
whipping
apple.
candy bars to himself, and he's like running to.
You can eat like there's
what?
like in the Vatican sequences like biscottis you could pick up.
No
or like
shot.
apples that you can take with you.
You're
Yeah,
just doming biscottis to get
just
I ran out of
knocking
stamina.
them back. Just knocking them back.
Just inhaling.
Classic
It's great.
Indiana Jones.
Classic Indy.
Indiana Jones.
He's always munching that dude.
yeah.
He's always munching.
We've always seen that, right?
Yeah.
Very much felt like
I
having
hate
to move.
snakes and being hungry. Yeah.
very much felt like a video gamey aspect to it, but even still, it just
Oh, no.
wasn't working for me. The stamina thing like made it feel
Okay.
so slow. I also noticed too that like the checkpoint system was rather unforgiving. There was a tomb where I had to break down a wall with a sledgehammer, and then I had to use my lighter to then light up another area. And because it's so weighty and so clunky, I would swing on this this beam with the whip, and I would feel like I had enough momentum to get to the other side, but I would like Looney Tunes let go and then just fall straight down. And so like it happened to me like 3 times, and every time the checkpoint kicked me out of the tomb, where I had to break the wall down again with the sledgehammer and break the other wall with the
And
lighter
eat all the pieces.
and
then-
eat all the biscotti and the apples.
Too many biscottis. That's why you can.
Yeah. And so it was very, very frustrating in that way. And then I also say like puzzles felt really easy, like very, very light. Now that I will
Maybe you're
reserve
just
full
very
judgment.
smart.
Maybe I'm the smartest man alive.
Yeah.
Is there a like?
Whoa.
Did it confirm like,
that
the
it is.
difficulty on the game or anything? Like, oh, you can play the game in story mode base. Or
There
like
is a difficulty
easy?
slider. I'm not
Thank
sure. I didn't check what the difficulty modes were, but I think there is like a standard, easy, medium, hard.
'Cause that was one of the things with, at least with Wolfenstein, is that there are difficulty modes that will just wreck you.
Too much. Okay,
Too
so
mu-
maybe that honestly, I'm very interested to see. I wish I played it
Yeah.
on the hardest difficulty, because the stealth was also like easy mode, and I'm pretty sure I was on normal difficulty. The stealth was like a walk in the park. There were times where I was like, I know that the little question mark that pops over this guy's head, if I don't get the full circle, he's not going to see me. So I'm just going to sprint past him as quickly as possible, and I would get through stealth like encounters like that
That visual.
so easily.
I love that.
that
so
visual,
easily.
like any like just throwing back the Scott.
Yeah.
That's
Imagine that happening. Well, this guy was like, must have been the wind, you know? Like, yeah, that
What was that? It was nothing. It's just an
Getting
adult man
flashbacks
in a
to
leather
Star Wars.
jacket.
yeah. So that's honestly what it felt like. Like sometimes these stealth encounters, like the guys felt really stupid. So maybe on the harder difficulty, it's going to be a lot more
Maybe.
unforgiving. But yeah, like the checkpoint system, if you could call it traversal, that's where a lot of my complaints lie. Like even in the B-roll they provided us, there's a scene where he's like climbing across on like a pipe, and it is so slow. I'm sitting there like, Indy, jump, man, like do something, like let's get to the place where we got to clamber up. This is taking forever. And
I can't do
it's
that
like,
yet. I'm too hungry.
yeah. I need more biscotti.
Let me
Yeah.
get my app.
I didn't carb a load.
gonna get Harrison Ford. But yeah, like, and so I hope that they crank that up a little bit in time for the full release, because that was bugging me quite a bit throughout my playthrough. But otherwise, like, a pretty solid game. I'm still not a full believer in it being first person. Like, I do wish it was a third person game, just because you want to see Indy. And like the likeness of Harrison Ford, it's so good. It's 1-to-1. It's crazy how good of a job they did with just Harrison Ford's likeness in the game. And again, obviously Troy Baker really selling it to get you fully immersed into the experience. But I think for me, I love the films. So that's what I'm most looking forward to, just jumping in and having that adventure and seeing where it takes me. And all the little story tidbits that we've seen in trailers and from what I've played, I was really invested in. I was really, really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the full game for that specific experience. I'm just wondering if some of those gameplay hindrances, if it's going to be too much for me or if it'll turn me away. But again, we'll see when it comes time for the release. But I do feel like people are going to like this one. I don't see this being like a disappointing game. I don't see this being one of the Xbox misfires. I think people are going to like it.
Oh, that's great. And I'm glad you're at least, finding some positives out of that, because I mean, for me, when I heard that Machine Games was kind of wavering from doing Wolfenstein over to do Indie, I was like, that's a bold decision, only because, one, you're tackling a licensed game of a series that doesn't really have global appeal anymore. I mean, you still have fans, but it's not like the biggest and best anymore. The last movie that just came out. But I mean, everything that you're kind of talking about, I can kind of just like visualize it being, similar trappings to what Machine Games does. I mean, Wolfenstein is a first-person game, and what they really do capture using that first-person perspective are the set pieces and the gunplay and stuff like that. And of course, that's not always going to translate well if you're doing puzzles or if you're doing traversal, all very new stuff for Machine Games. So I definitely can see why that's the weakest point in the game, is that this is brand new stuff for them. So I do wonder in the finished product if they can kind of tighten all that stuff up or not, or if the game is just going to kind of solely rely on slower moments like traversal or like those little puzzles that, people fly through. And then everyone's going to be like, but did you see that time that Indiana Jones like jumped out of a plane, or jumped out of the tower or stuff like that? I wonder if those bigger set pieces are going to be what people walk away from versus those kind of smaller moments. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how the gunplay works out in like those faster moments, because Wolfenstein, like at times you got two LMGs, like guns blazing, taking down like hordes of Nazis at some point. So I really wonder if they like. Granted, it's Indiana Jones, so you're not going to be doing exactly that, but how do you kind of replicate this higher octane, frenetic gameplay that Machine Games even has?
I had one specific, not necessarily a set piece. This was my own undoing from being bad at stealth, where I like alerted a whole bunch of guys, and I had like a marksman rifle that I was just doming dudes with left and right. Now you can't like fully aim down sights. It's still like third person. You just tighten the view.
Yep.
So like maybe like if somebody's like into first person shooters, you might be a little turned off by that. And I had a couple of people who would use like a machine gun and noticed that sometimes it would take like multiple headshots for like an enemy to go down, which I think, like, from what I understood based on their experience, they were frustrated by. I never ended up in that position. What I did find really fun was, even if you have like a machine gun or any sort of weapon, you can also flip it to be a melee weapon. So like if you used a machine gun and you wasted all the ammo, flip it up, and now it's a melee weapon that you can use for X amount of time until you like break it. Which I thought was super fun.
The image of Harrison Ford dumbing people to the point where a full-blown gun can break is insane.
It's so good. Yeah, no, again, for me, like the story, I'm very much into. I really love what they're selling me on the mystery, and where we're going with everything. I'm really, really into it. There's a couple of issues that I have in terms of his weightiness and when it comes to like traversal. And the puzzles, I'll reserve the full judgment, because I'm wondering if what I was experiencing were a lot of like sort of like side puzzles, right? Like I don't think they're gonna throw you the most difficult puzzles back to back to back to back in the game. There may be some that are a little lighter, a little easier to kind of like take a breather before you get into one that requires more your noggin.
Well,
So
especially
maybe-
at a media event, you don't
Yeah,
want to run
right?
into a Cuphead tutorial.
they don't want
know?
there to be a situation where you're stuck there for 15, 20
You know.
minutes and not
solve
able
this
to
actual
progress.
Rubik's cube.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here's your 3 hours. Now do this 90-minute puzzle.
Yeah, so I'll reserve full judgment on whether or not the puzzles are actually easy for when I get the full game. But
Sure.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hyped for December, and I think if you're an indie fan, this should be on your radar.
Well, I could just imagine now, like a horde of enemies coming. You're like, damn, I'm out of snacks.
Yeah, it's like-
No biscottis.
Yeah, that's the real question. Yeah, how many biscottis can you stack? Yeah, that's the real question.
I hope there's an achievement of like munch on 1,000 biscottis
Not
throughout
the
the
munchies
campaign.
or something.
Yeah.
Like that's the achievement name or something. That's crazy. That caught me by surprise. I did not expect that
No.
out of this game.
That is
Need
hilarious.
it.
Now,
What
what
is
people
it?
are talking about this.
Yeah, right. No one's talking about this. Only
No one.
Caboose has the.
I got the
Scoop.
exclusive.
Exclusive.
You can eat biscottis and apples in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
God damn, I'm excited for that one now.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Well, with that being said, Steve, what's going on for you for the rest of the week?
Oh my goodness, it is Call of Duty week. I am
Nuketown!
just enthralled by this. Not yet. I'm close. I'm so
51. I'm close too.
Are
I'm
you
getting
for
there.
real? That close?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got.
I'm getting there.
We all gotta play. We all gotta play.
Yes,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
run it.
Damn.
Let's run it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
wasting
just
my
dropped
time with
93 on
campaign.
Babylon, 2 chopper gunners. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let's go.
you know what I'm
That's-
saying? No, seriously,
good.
That's clean.
we got to run some
That's-
games.
We got
Dude,
the
I'm
smartest
so
guy in
in.
the world in this
Hmm?
in this group chat.
He's got all the plays.
This guy knows all the puzzles in Indiana Jones. Like that guy.
Grab the
should-
biscottis.
So yeah, we
everyone.
need that guy
I'm a
on our team.
genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's it for me. It's just Call of Duty on the brain right now. I can't stop thinking about this game.
I got like Newtowns this weekend. That's wild. What a lovely surprise.
I'm so amped. There he is.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Oh my
First guy
god.
alive.
Oh, yeah.
Indiana Caboose over here.
Yeah. That better be your costume. That's what I'm saying.
I actually got
Yeah.
a way cooler costume for Halloween. Ready to go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
You've
I think I've seen
probably
this,
it
yeah.
if you've seen my
Yeah.
Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw it.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, this is fire. This is fire. I can't wait for the
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah. Riley, how about yourself? I guess everyone's doing COD, I guess. That's the
Yeah, I feel like we gotta do COD. I'm doing COD now. Didn't
Okay.
you hear? Yeah. No, I'm gonna do COD. I feel like it's pretty chill right now. I'm actually gearing up for Black Friday stuff, which is exciting.
When is
Don't
that?
even remind me.
Coming up in a couple weeks here.
couple weeks. And the last Thursday of November.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
usually.
There you go. And Caboose, I guess COD as well.
Yeah, some more COD for me as well. That's
By the
it.
way, we get an extra hour of COD this weekend.
Oh, are we
Huge.
are we
Huge.
back?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Fall
We're getting-
back.
We're going an hour back. Okay. All right.
Hour back. There you go. You get
Excited.
more COD.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
there you go.
jumping into
Call
some
of
more
Duty.
I can finally like move on. I feel like, like I've gotten closure with Spider-Man DLC. Like I can finally like not think about it anymore, not talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, hey, like show me Wolverine, man.
Jimmy, you're not
Be
excited for
ready
the
for
PC
it.
version?
Oh, of course. For the mods. I mean,
Not gonna
Shrek.
make shit,
What?
right? Shrek?
Yo,
Like-
Shrek.
Yeah.
Oh my
Shrek?
god.
Swing it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, give me
Hell
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm definitely hyped for the PC port
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see like what people are gonna get up to.
Hell yeah.
So when
Um,
you're excited for Wolverine, when do you think we'll see it? If you had to guess, just in your own thoughts.
In my own thoughts, what did we get? We went Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales 2020, and then from 2018 Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2 was 5 years, right? So we had the Wolverine announcement in 2021 being made by a different team, the team that made Miles Morales. I think, in my own tinfoil hat, that because there's no DLC, because they've got all hands on deck Wolverine, I'm putting on the tinfoil hat next year.
Yes, I'm right there with you.
Ooh.
Fall
with you.
25.
Any shot at a Game Awards appearance?
I think we have to.
It'd be tough because they still got the PC version to come out in January. I don't know if they want to like cannibalize that. Like,
Fair
I don't know if you would. I think you would
their-
just generate more hype, to be
I think
honest.
it's more hype. Yeah.
Do you think they generate hype for the PC version of Spider-Man with a Wolverine trailer in December?
Yeah, like Marvel brains are Marvel brains. Like you
That's
just want to
true.
get people thinking about Marvel and PlayStation.
I think that actually the Game Awards we're going to see something about that Captain America and Black Panther game.
Oh, I think that's a guarantee
I
as
think
well.
it's
a good
time
fit.
to really
Yeah.
like
We
lift
need
the lid off.
gameplay.
That's not a Sony exclusive. That's just like
No, it's just
going
everything.
to
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
right? What
Yeah,
are
I
the
think we're gonna
chances
see
of
more from them.
Wolverine being on a day one PC and PlayStation?
Drive
Zero.
your
I
mind.
don't think he'll happen.
Zero.
I don't think
All
it'll
right.
happen.
There,
Drive your
any,
mind.
Stay
any major first party exclusive will never be day and date.
Unless it's
Like,
multiplayer. Yeah,
Yes,
it's not
Stay
gonna
yeah.
happen.
You're never gonna see the next God of War day and date. You're never gonna see the next Last of Us.
That
Ghost of
turnaround
Tsushima
time's
5.
getting shorter and shorter. Just letting you know.
You're totally right. But until we're talking like months, like a couple
Listen.
months, it's just never gonna happen.
Firewalk cost them a lot. They didn't make money.
You're not wrong. You're
And they're-
certainly not wrong.
And they are going to make it with Wolverine
they're
Yeah.
and then
yes.
Spider-Man 3 and
Maximize on PC.
who knows?
and
Whatever else they
PlayStation.
have.
they got a
for us
Venom
next year.
game, right?
Venom.
Like there's-
Ghost of Yote or what is it?
Yeah, you know what
Yote?
though? If
Yote?
they do have a Venom game in the pipeline, then that's probably next year. If we're being honest.
You think so?
But the thing is
That would
I
be
don't
cool.
know if they have a Venom game, like who works on that, because they have their separate team that worked on Miles Morales, working on Wolverine, and they had the dedicated team who worked on the first Spider-Man, then worked on Spider-Man 2. So who's putting the resources into a Venom game? if
Well, I'm
that
trying to
game
think
is
too.
good?
Is like, well, because if they're all in on Wolverine, I know we're running way past because we saw
Sorry,
Wolverine.
yeah.
No, but I like
Yeah.
talking about it, is that like because the flow was Miles Morales into Ratchet and Clank into Spider-Man. So would they go Spider-Man 2 into Venom
Oh,
into Wolverine?
was the Ratchet team was completely different too, right?
Yeah,
That-
like
they
so if
might
you're
be
all
the
in on the
ones-
Marvel.
They might be the ones who take
So
over.
I could get my timeline wrong here, but I think it was after Miles Morales, Insomniac expanded once again to have a third team on board, which was
That's
then
not-
incorporated into doing Ratchet and Clank, which theoretically would be doing Venom, if I'm not mistaken, because
Yeah, I just
really
because
want
Miles
those to
Morales
be-
is doing Wolverine, and then
Yeah.
you think Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man
They-
3, yeah.
That would be a
In-house, they've
great
got their own
announcement.
like sledgehammer,
It's
Treyarch,
crazy.
Infinity
It's
Ward
crazy.
situation going on. It's
That'll be a
wild.
great announcement to tie into the game that's coming out in January. They're like final Venom story
True.
next month.
True.
That is
and the
true.
Game comes out later on.
Oh,
But
they
no-
got the Venom movies too, and that I mean, like it all kind of goes back to like that too. Like I don't know.
No one's talking about the Venom movies. Okay, you stop that right now.
But
Hey,
it's
that-
doing
you know
well.
what?
It made money.
People,
No one's
people
talking about that
talked
movie.
up and down about how stupid fun
Venomous
the first two
logo,
movies
no
were.
logo,
And
Venom.
then the Last Dance was like, okay, you guys think these are dumb fun? We're gonna lean all the way in, and everyone's like, no, what are you doing? Why is it dumb fun? And it's like, this is what do you mean? That's what you said was good about the first two movies.
Justice to Null. Come
Just
on.
okay, Null was cool though. Come on,
That was cool, but they could
I
have done
haven't
more.
seen
Like,
it
they
yet.
didn't
Me
hype him
neither.
up a little
Me
bit,
neither.
you know?
Watch it,
So,
watch it.
I will.
watch it. Yeah,
All right.
I'll watch it on a plane one day.
it'll be better than Madam Web. I'll tell you that.
I'm
much.
only gonna watch
Hey,
it
I
on
did
a
that too.
plane. That's the only way I'll watch it.
I watched Venom
refuse.
Web in
I
theaters
refuse.
and then on a plane. I watched it twice. I'm one of the few
What
people who did
are
that.
you doing?
God
I
damn.
wanted to fall asleep.
Hold on,
because
you
I was
saw
on the
Madam
red
Web
eye.
in theaters, but
The
you're not going to go
bumpy
see
ride.
Venom in theaters?
No, I'm joking. I'm gonna go see it this week. Yeah.
Venom's in Fortnite right now, and you could use the creator code. I forget
Aaron
what.
Caboose.
There you go.
There you go.
Let's go.
There you
Let's
go.
run Fortnite.
Yeah, you
and
can use
start
creator
back up.
code Aaron Caboose in Fortnite, and you can pre-order the collector's edition of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on Walmart Canada's website right now. Do it.
I didn't even have
What
to
about-
pay Caboose for that.
No.
Look at that.
You should pay.
Yeah.
There you go. Go back. Shop exclusively at Walmart for all your Black Friday deal sales. Okay.
We are
Oh,
not
there
sponsored.
it is.
We're
not
really
sponsored.
not.
We're
No, let's
not
make that
affiliated.
clear.
Yeah,
No
not
one.
yet. Not yet.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah.
Hashtag sponsored. Anyway,
Hashtag
have a good
not-
one. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you here next week. Flops this weekend. Slops.
Have a happy
Six-
or a Halloween holiday.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween and
Halloween.
enjoy
Eat some candy.
enjoy Nuketown.
Yeah.
Yeah.